Figured I'd give a little update. Basically, been making some progress on the CRX. Got most of it back together, the roll cage back in. Got a cheap set of racing seats for it for now. Those aren't permanent. Actually found out no matter what I do, I'm probably gonna end up having to build a custom roll cage to get this out away from my head further, because this is too close to my head. It actually bonks it right here. Figure that out down the road. These seats are cheap as well, but they're just to get it started, because the old CRX seats were toast, and I got a smoking deal on them. Sold another seat I had for almost the same amount of money. Just making some progress right now. I don't think I can flip it real time, but what I'm doing is I have a couple old Zero motorcycles that I have their batteries out of, which I'm using up front here. And for the front battery, it's gonna be a long process, but basically what I'm doing is designing it so I have 10 kilowatts of battery in front of the motor. The controller get mounted up here. I'll put this video together showing how it all works. I'm just working on the wire harness a little bit right now. I have one from dyno testing. I set a goal basically to drive the CRX from this shop to Alpine Way, our other house, which is what my family and I are buying my ex out of. Unfortunately, I don't get access because BC changed the rules about owner occupying your own house. You have to give 4 months notice now. I tried to do it last summer knowing we were going to go there, and we just had to negotiate a fair deal, and my ex messed that up. Basically reached out to the tenants and they took us to court and won, because she told them lies that she was going to sell the house, and I wanted to buy it. There was no reason for a court to order a sale when I'm planning to buy her out. So obviously that's what happened. It's agreed upon. We got a price. It's all done. Everything's settled that way. Mortgages will be dealt with in about 2 weeks. Basically, this acreage is sold and new owners will get possession here in 2 weeks, roughly. So my goal is to get this running, just front wheel drive for now. The rear motor is in and everything, but I won't have the rear battery built. I won't have the rear inverters, controller, whatever hooked up. I've got a lot of awesome stuff going on though. So I made a penthouse here. Basically, I'm trying to do this with rear facing camera, so it's a little tricky, but you can see this design here. It actually has, I use the quick coupling Andersons that plug right into the Zero packs. And then basically on the side, I put one of those relay boxes, which controls pre-charge, Tesla pyro fuse, and both other contactors inside, as well as a current sensor and a shunt. And it's going to be one of those Isabella shunts, I think they're pronounced. Basically, it has voltage monitoring for both sides of the pre-charge contactor, and then positive, negative, and everything. So it'll be good to add together, and it's CAN bus, so it'll send out information to I got a Zombie Verter VCU. Actually, thanks to Damien for sending that. I gotta give him a big shout out. He asked me if I wanted one. He's used a bit of my stuff in the past, and I really appreciate that. Trying to get going at this EV stuff again. I'm super excited to get going on it. It's exciting to be back and thinking about the future, and exciting to be doing this stuff. Today, my goal is to get this connected enough. I need to add a couple bus bars. We'll see if I can get that far, and just get the controller with the wheels off the ground. I just got the throttle connected under the hood. I have a WRX STI throttle in there. I'm only using 3 wires for now. The plan is to drive, it's about 15 kilometers, low speeds. Not pushing it at all, keep the controller turned down and everything. And get from A to B when I move, just to prove I've gotten that far. It's kind of like a goal I've set to myself, get it that far, and then from there, I'll keep working on it. It'll get the momentum started for really working on it once I'm at the other house. And then when I don't have the boys on my weeks off, I'll be able to fly at it in the evenings. My goal will be to And in the summer, you know, any spare minute I have, I don't have them, I'll work on it. And when I do have them, if they want to help, cool. If not, we're gonna do a lot of bicycle stuff, a lot of physical exercise, and get out camping, BMX racing, all that sort of stuff. But they do like working in the shop too, so just gotta find that balance. It won't be as much, and I definitely can't do any high voltage risky stuff when they're there. So anyways, thought I'd give an update. I'm just gonna see if I can add a little bit to this video throughout the day as I make progress. So here we go. All right, so I spent some time installing a fuse, which is halfway through the battery pack. So basically it's in the middle. I got a high side and low side contactors. Actually, this is low side, that's high side. I got a pre-charge resistor connected to a third contactor, which is across the high side. I can switch that to either high or low side, doesn't matter. Then bus bars to join, which the second set of power lock connectors are to parallel the rear battery pack. There is no rear battery pack yet, so they're just there for now, but they are HVIL lockout. You can see HVIL wires here. So basically those are needed there, and I put a pretty good connector here, got this designed, and this is a 2-pin connector, which I realized I should have done 2. One will be for the DC to DC, and one will be for the HVAC, the heat pump. So these wires are signal wires. They turn on relays, contactors, everything, and then also for current sensing, CAN bus, and all that sort of stuff. I've got some of them populated, which are controlled by this relay box, and some are for signal. So I think I'm pretty safe. I got some orange duct tape just for today to cover a couple things. I realize this is a little closer to the lid than I'd like, so I'm going to cover those for now, and I'll do some thinking about that. You can see there's a decent gap, but it just makes me paranoid seeing something live that close to metal. And it's just because I don't have a holder for my fuse right now, so and there is individual fuses on the batteries themselves. I'm gonna actually downsize this eventually, but the fuses on the batteries aren't rated for the voltage, whereas this is rated for 500 volts. And these contactors are rated for the current the battery will do as well, so turning the power off should shut it off as well if there's any issues. So what I'm going to do is wrap up a bit of orange duct tape on the fuse for now, and probably just a little piece across the tops of these, and I'll put the lid on. First I'll test the relay box, double check that my wiring's proper. I'm going to label the contactor pins wires. I'm going to twist the low side contactor together with the pre-charge contactor so that they just both turn on first automatically, and then the high side contactor will be the second contactor that I'll engage manually. So once I get that done, I should be able to try and spin the wheel. So I've got an Axiom connected, and it's basically got motor position information and throttle information. So right now I can actually go in here, go to rotor position, and make sure it's on that setting, and I can spin the wheel just by kicking it here, and you can see that it gives me my motor position. And then if I go over to here, I can see I got the throttle calibrated. It reminds me I want to add a current sensor for DC current, but I will get there. So you can see I'm pushing the throttle inside the car. I have a WRX SDI throttle here. I have to put a new battery in my flashlight, but yeah, I've got it mounted. It's pretty good. I'm going to put a little stopper under it. I like the Prius throttle more, but the only Prius throttle I have right now has I got it from eBay cheap because it had this cut here. So the reason I like the Prius throttle more is because it actually has a longer throw in it, which will give me better resolution. That's the only reason I like it more. It's not as pretty or anything, but who cares what your go pedals, your brake pedal and your throttle pedal look like. Maybe down the road I'll get something fancy to cover it, but for now should be able to make it run, and I'm going to continue. So once I have the power distribution box tested, I will pop in the batteries and start the video to record the first potential test of spinning the wheels, which reminds me I will need to move a few of these wires out of the way. I'll put some tape on them or something. And I was lucky I had a leaf power distribution box and I was about to throw it away. I'm trying to declutter, dehoard, and get rid of as much stuff out of the shop here as I can. And I opened this up and there's a whole bunch of bus bars I was able to use, plus 2 good contactors I'd like to keep. So I'm happy I took that apart. You can see I cut some of the bus bars up and rebent them, made them work for my purpose. So I'm pretty excited about that there. All right, it's the following Monday. Ran out of time last Friday. One of the things that happened was between trying to work on this when I'm away from the acreage and get what I can done, I mounted the fuse / relay box on the back of my power distribution box here, and unfortunately it was hitting a motor mount there. So basically I had to remove that, and then I actually had to slide the controller back a little bit more towards the firewall because my main connectors here, my 90-degree connectors that come out of the power distribution box to go to Axiom, and also the other 2 connectors that have to go to the back of the car to parallel the rear battery, they were bonking into the side of the controller, unfortunately. Some of this I designed by eyeballing, and some of it I had to work on while I wasn't here at the acreage because we have an agreement that I wouldn't be here week on, week off. So anyways, I think I'm ready to start it. Just do a quick run. So what I got to do is power up, and this is a scary part. I got 470 volts, 465 volts there. I got to plunk my power distribution box in, which has the quick connectors on the bottom. Then when I turn on these 2 switches I have here, one's for the main contactor and pre-charge, and then the other one's for the second contactor. And I'll put the computer on the roof of the car. I'll be able to monitor the voltage in the controller, and then from there I gotta calibrate the encoder again because first off I don't know if this one was calibrated to this motor, and second off I might have switched to the phase wires in the process of lengthening the phase wires and everything. So that's gonna be my next steps, so I'll get that set up and then all right, well, here goes, I guess. Make sure this is plunked down. A little bit nervous. This will be the first time turning on the contactors in this power distribution box, well connected to Axiom. I'm actually going to plunk this in for a little bit of added touch safeness on that other plug right now. And we got the VESC software ready here. Let's see what happens. So this is second contactor. Down here is the first contactor. Oh, it says we only have 176 volts in. There's something not right. That's not right. So it didn't pre-charge properly. That sucks. I guess the solution, unfortunately, is likely either to disconnect the connectors and measure with a multimeter. It's probably the better solution. And see what the actual voltage is to the connectors. So I use the multimeter and probed carefully inside here, and the voltage on the positive and negative match what the screen displays, which right now says 100 volts. It was at 118 when I checked it. Now we got 465 here. I wonder if my 100 ohm resistor just can't handle. It's a 100 ohm, 100 watt resistor, but from Amazon, maybe it just can't handle the power. These are cheaper Amazon resistors. It's totally possible that, oh, these are 50 watt, 500 ohm, but whatever. It's totally possible that They're just not as good as they claim they are. It claims to be a 100 watt, 100 ohm resistor, which should be pretty good for my application. I'm gonna try one of these 50 watt, 500 ohm resistors next. It should be all right. See if it works. All right, I got the, fortunately the size is a little bit different, so the mounting is a little different, but I got the pre-charge resistor replaced. It's now 5 times higher resistance, so it'll pre-charge 5 times slower. So I'll just turn on that contactor and we'll double check with a multimeter, which I gotta go grab over here. And as soon as I get this thing spinning, where did I leave my multimeter? As soon as I get this thing spinning, I will spend some time cleaning up the shop and continue packing, because this is my last week here. The shop itself, I get to keep stuff stored here, but I'm moving some things out to storage for now to save some time when the official move happens in just over a month. Okay, seems maybe the little contactor, I could have swore, let's just test this. I'll hold the camera with my chin. It's not gonna be easy. Maybe I'm not gonna hold it that way. I swear I measured this and it has failed. So I wonder if I fried that contactor at the same time. That's insane. Yeah, no, this resistor's failed for sure. It's, 1 point whatever million ohms, but shoot, this other contactor I wired in, this might have been a bad contactor to begin with. So looks like I'm changing the contactor now too. Oh well. Let's give this another try. Replace my pre-charge contactor and my pre-charge resistor. Let's try pre-charging. Okay, we got full voltage. Second contactor on. And it reads correct voltage. I usually gotta do like 20 amps here. So it says offset at 268.2, apply, and then we'll save that. And we'll save the app configuration. We'll double check the ADC. Mapping. Okay. So here's the big question. Does it run? Does it spin the wheels? That's exciting. She's running. She's alive. Oh man, can't tell you how excited I am for that. A lot of stuff left to do, but that was my goal to try and get done Friday. Basically, my goal is to get this drivable-ish by the end of this week. All I really got to do is connect up the positive 12-volt system to this factory relay box, fuse box, whatever, and figure out how to mount like a normal conventional lead acid battery, and probably gonna cheat and use I have a couple of old school DC to DCs that can take power from maybe a 110 volt battery, and I'll put that on the passenger floor or something just to keep the 12 volt battery alive. Or I'll even maybe just let it sit here and run and time out how long it takes to drain that 12-volt battery. But I think the smart thing to do will be to have something to keep that 12-volt battery charged while we drive up from here to the other place. It's about 15-20 kilometers, not too far. But she's running. Couldn't be more excited. This is a great day. Maybe I'll spin the computer around so we can look at it from the other side and get a little bit of info. So we can come back here to just get my wires out of the way a little bit. Come back over here. I'll run it with my wrong foot. So it gives us some data here. Oh yeah, she's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm excited. That's everything looks great, and I don't have any cooling or anything hooked up, but it's not doing much for work right now. Now that's the other thing, is have to think about cooling. I'll see if I can maybe get a cooling system hooked up by the end of this week, but either way, it's alive. This is super exciting. That's a major step forward. Now I definitely still have a lot of work to do. Gotta figure out, I got a roll cage bar against my head here, so I gotta deal with that, probably build a new roll cage. Honestly, these seats are temporary, and I gotta cut the rear floor out, I gotta hook up the rear controllers. But basically what my plan was to get the front motor running, get it drivable by the end of this week, so that when we move at the end of April, I can drive it to the other house. I'll put a day permit on it or whatever and drive it to the other house. And this looks like we should be able to get there. So pretty excited for that. Stay tuned. Things are finally moving forward again. Feeling pretty good about this. Pretty stoked. Lots of stuff to clean up, but it's getting there.